Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Wisconsin Wrestler Podcast. I'm your host, Teek Fenwick, coming to you from Holman. Joining me, as always, from Fort Atkinson is my co-host, Steve Lurquin. Steve, great to be here.
Always pumped to talk wrestling, buddy.
Steve, going to be a busy week for the podcast. I got a couple of Fargo recaps. I think tomorrow we're posting a video of the AT Elite Center up in Eau Claire, which just happened to be rocking my Crash Train shirt right now.
Nice.
Then Thursday we got Podium Winner Palooza finals. So pretty stacked week for us in the middle of summer, which I'm enjoying.
I'm liking these daytime recordings as well. We're not used to doing those, but we both have the flexibility right now to do them, and our guests do as well. So that's good stuff.
I like it. I'm not doing dinner at like 10 p.m. Like it's great stuff, man.
Yeah. Disappear up in the office for an hour or so and break up the day.
So yeah, we obviously, Steve, the big thing that just happened, we had Fargo last week, and what a week it was for our boys and girls. On the boys side, which we'll be talking about today, I believe all teams placed at least top 5, which I think it was the only state to do that from what I was reading. But we can't get any amendments on that, and we're going to go into further detail as well. Steve, who better to have on for this than the WWF state coaches coordinator himself, the godfather of the cheesehead, and
Godfather
of course,
of the cheesehead. Yep.
Our most highest reoccurring guest, none other than Scott Kluever. Scott, glad to have you on again.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm always excited to talk about the WWF and the things we're trying to accomplish. And last weekend, or last week, was kind of one of the big time events that we always look forward to, and we put a big star on the calendar, and I think we came out and showed the country that we're a force to be reckoned with.
I would, as someone who put in a lot of hours watching on the computer, I would 100% agree with that. And I think, Scott, your intro is going to get more grand and grand every time we have you on the show, man. It's might need to get like a pyro show going here soon or something. But before we hop into the Fargo experience here, just a quick word from our sponsor, Fun Company Game Room Store. Fun Company Game Room Store, located in downtown New Lisbon, has everything you need to spruce up your home. They have pool tables, dartboards, and arcade games perfect for a basement or a bar, along with all the accessories from dart tips to pool sticks. As for outdoor fun, they have a variety of hot tubs and Traeger grills to keep you warm this winter. Also sold are meat, church, and Traeger rubs, spices, sauces, and pellets. The Fun Company Game Room Store is your one-stop shop for it all. And Scott, I guess before we talk about, any results or anything, I kind of want to go through, I just want to hear your experience at Fargo. Like what's a day in the life at this tournament? Because, I did a lot of watching on the computer, and there was moments for me where it's like, okay, I need to go step outside for a second. I need to maybe walk my dogs, get a quick breather. You don't really get breathers like I do when you're actually at the Dome. I just want to what's a day there like for you?
It's an emotional roller coaster for every coach that's there. We're, depending on the day, you're up very early in the morning, making sure guys are at weight, getting to weigh-ins. Then you're rolling in, you got your warm-ups and trying to find a mat that everybody can fit on. And then you're competing, okay? And there's the emotional roller coaster, because you go through every win and every loss with those kids. And then you'll have a small break. Maybe if it's a finals day, you got the finals you'll be watching. Then you come back with the other group and they're competing. And it's about a 13-hour day in the Fargo Dome. That doesn't include the doing bed checks at the end of the night or meeting with the coaches to make sure we got everything the way we want for the next day. You average about 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night if you're lucky.
Oh,
so it's a grind, but it's a grind that's fun, because you get to see kids experience something that others only talk about. So I think all our coaches would say it's worth every bit that we do. And I think the kids and their parents would say that the experience they got is worth what we go through to be part of this event.
That's awesome. That's awesome. When you warm up as a team as well. It's got to be kind of cool sight to see. Hey, Scott, last year, I know we had you on, you talked about one of your goals as coaches is to have nobody go 0-2, right? You want everybody to get a win. Did you guys, was that a goal this year? And how close did you guys come, or did you achieve it?
I haven't even broke down that part of it.
Okay.
When I got back from Fargo for the last 2 days, I'm just kind of putting thoughts together, just decompressing. Got a chance to talk with a couple of coaches. I normally try to step away for about a week and then look at things. But like Keaton told me, Dad, you always say that, and 2 days later you're talking to somebody. That's basically what happened. But our goal is always to have very few 0-2s. And our goal is always to have 10 All-Americans. And we didn't reach that, even though our placings were high, we didn't get quite where we wanted to be. But we did something nobody else could do. And that, our consistency among all the men getting in the top 5 at every age and every style, that speaks volumes about our state.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, got started off. I'm glad I got to pay more attention this year. Just got to kind of get a better feel for the schedule. So it started off with a 16U freestyle. And the thing that I love about Fargo is it's 6 different tournaments packed into one. And just you can kind of I almost even got a sense of it, watching from a distance. It's like there's momentum swing throughout the day, for each team. And even the separate teams kind of can, it seems like they can ride off of each other's momentum.
Absolutely. There is a lot of momentum swings, and it helps when you got hammers on the bottom. Like when you got, Noble and Peterson in your first 2 weights, when those hammers start rolling, it sets the pace for everybody else. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always great. So, it's not dual meet wrestling, but in tournament times when guys start seeing each other winning, it's super helpful when your day starts off with a few of your hammers.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid 2 to start out with. So let's just we'll run through, if you don't, I'll run through the list of All-Americans for 16U freestyle real quick, and then you can kind of talk about their experience in general. So we got is it a Haken Peterson?
Yes.
Yep, took first at 94. Kellen Wolbert, he was a champion at 113 pounds. That was a very exciting match. Aiden Sinclair, man, I don't know. It seems like he's getting exponentially better every week he steps on the mat. He made his finals match look easy. He took first at 182. Caleb Noble took second. I guess we'll take a break here. You talk about the highs and lows of Fargo. And I feel like just emotionally, it was a tough call to make. I'm not going to be the one to judge if it was right or wrong, but how do you get Caleb to kind of rebound from a match like that afterwards with another tournament still to come?
He's experienced. It hurt. I know it hurt, but that kid, he's a professional. He knows that he's got to rebound and come back. He's got another tournament. It was a hard pill to swallow. But he handled it really, really well, and I'm really proud of Caleb. Those other 3, they're special athletes, right? And so is Caleb, but Haken comes back and he gets his freestyle title. He had his Greco title last year. He has really one tough match, and that was first round to another All-American out of Minnesota. Other than that, I thought he just controlled all his matches. Walbert, that kid's a scoring machine. He's fun to watch. He's exciting. He's going to put a bunch of points on the board. If you haven't seen his matches, people, go back and watch him. He's fun to watch. And Sinclair, he's just the best in my mind. He was the best guy in that tournament at the 16U level. He dominated. He controlled every match. The only point he gave up was on a step over on a gut in the finals. And if he had that back, that guy wouldn't score on him either. That it is just, he's just that much better than everybody else.
Nice.
And that does, it's not easy for him, right? He has to put in the time, the dedication, and it's not just with his techniques. If you talk to him, he's reading books about his mentality and how to get better there. He's growing in all different ways. And that's what makes Aiden Sinclair so special.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's mature. I'm 27. I don't really read a lot. Like for him as a, incoming junior in high school, that's awesome to hear that. And all the other place winners that we have, Chase Matthias placed third at 95. Evan Gratz was sixth at 285. And then Jake Stoffel placed eighth at 152 pounds. You guys ended up placing fifth. So if you want to talk about either of those guys or just talk about this team in general, the floor is yours.
Well, I'm going to bring it Evan Gratz. Gratzy, he was, we were in the national duels finals and he lost a match. We ended up tying, and he took a lot of that burden on himself losing the national title because you're the last guy to wrestle. And I remember I sent him a text saying, hey, there's a lot of ways we could have won that match, but what we need out of you now is to come to Fargo, get on the stand, and help us get team points and finish as high as we can. And that's exactly what he did. He didn't sit and pout about his result from the national duels. He came out and he went and got on the podium and helped our team. So my hat's off to Grazie on that. I want to point him out for that kind of mentality. Stoffel, just a tough, hard-nosed guy that wrestled really well. He was dominant, in the beginning of the tournament, ran into some other studs. But he'll be a force come high school season this next year. And then Matthias, a lot of people didn't know about him. And I'll tell you what, he's an athletic freak. The things he can do, most people can't do. And the more he keeps improving his skills, third isn't going to be where he ends up come later in his career. He has the ability to climb higher than what he placed. So I'm excited for his future. Our team overall in 16U, they handled themselves really well. We lost some really tough matches in the blood rounds, where just controversial calls, just a couple of one situation determined the match because we could have climbed up a little higher, but I was really proud of our 16U team.
Moving on to junior freestyle here. Oh, sorry, Scott.
The one other thing I want to point out, for the first time ever, we had 3 freestyle national champions at 16U, and that's never happened in Wisconsin history. So congrats to that group.
Yeah, hats off to you guys. I mean, that's a way to put yourselves on the map right there.
Absolutely.
Get 3 national champs, and then you had another in the finals as well.
Scott, do you know, I know you haven't broke down the numbers yet, so maybe I shouldn't ask this, but is this the most All-Americans, and not just at 16U, but overall that you can remember?
No, it's not.
No.
But what helped us is the number of people we kept putting in the finals and high placing. That's where your team score really jumps. And we were able to do that. We, with our studs, really helped our team score.
Because I think if I saw right, it's 27 points, is it, for a first place?
It's like, 25 or it's
27.
like 27 somewhere in there. And then, 5 points down. Yeah. So there's a big difference between 8th and 1st, so getting those champs is a big deal.
And the only thing, Stoffel, he wrestled 152. I just looked, I'm like, man, I thought he was a smaller guy than that. He wrestled 132 at state a few months later. Look at him. Holy cow. He's growing.
And he is. He's getting bigger, stronger. he looks really good right now at 152.
Throwing right into the heat. I know we're not talking about like the regular season, but that's going right into the heat of a really stacked like weight class in general.
Yes.
So Steve, I could have answered the question there for you on like the place winners thing, because junior freestyle ended up with 9 place winners.
No, and I meant in general. I meant as far as the whole team. I didn't just mean like 16U or juniors. I meant as far as Greco and all that, all categories. Is this the most ever All Americans?
We had more last year.
More last year. Wow. Did you know what I mean, Teague, or no?
Oh, like the total amount of All Americans?
Yeah, total overall.
That's
gotcha.
Okay.
But what Scott's saying is they had more last year, but this year's the highest. They had more guys that placed higher.
Okay. Yeah. Nope. I got you now. We're on the same page.
Yeah. We're reading each other's emails. We got this.
The junior freestyle, 9 place winners. Also, a lot of the stuff I'll say I got from the recap from Gabby Lord Klein, who we're going to have for the girls recap on Wednesday. But if anyone likes like written stuff, highly recommend going to the WWF website and checking out her recap blogs. I don't know how she does it between coaching and media stuff, but if anyone can do it, it's her. But junior freestyle, just running through the place winners. Connor Mirasola was the champ at 182 pounds. Braden Scholes placed third at 160. And you want to talk about guys that it seems like they have unlimited gas tanks. That dude, I think he was down in like 2 or 3 matches and he found ways to scrap. He wrestles so seamlessly all 6 minutes. It's absolutely crazy how he does it. Caleb Minier was 5th for Winnicott. He is at 5th at 145. Cole Mirasola was 5th at 195, and I heard he was giving up some weight as well there. Noah Mulvaney was 5th at 170. I mean, you think the guy likes to score in folk style, Steve. I think he won a match like 23-16 or something like that. It was a back and forth affair. And I think that was the match that made me fall in love with freestyle, to be honest. Shane Corrigan was 7th at 126. Gavin Drexler was 7th at 145. Charlie Millard was 7th at 152. And Max Ramberg placed 8th at 220 pounds. The team finished 5th as a whole.
Yeah, it was a good tournament, and I want to kind of give a shout out to our seniors in Shane Corrigan, Gavin Drexler, and Max Ramberg, who came back their senior year and got on the stand, right? They've wanted to be on that stand. They wanted to be a freestyle All-American, and they achieved it, and they really helped our team. As you can see, all the rest of those guys come back next year. We are a young team. So we're excited for what they accomplished this year. But I'm probably just as pumped for what we can accomplish next year. As far as, you look at Connor Mirasola, the run he went on, he beat some really good guys. That Nachtenberg kid from out of Iowa, I know Willie Saylor, I think, had him picked to win it, and Connor dominated him, and he dominated his finals. The score, people look at the score and may think it was close. It wasn't even close. That guy didn't even come near getting to his leg. He out hand fought him. He wore him out. He did pretty much whatever he wanted to him. So you couldn't ask for a much better performance than what he put on.
It seemed like he almost broke that guy in the final. Like that guy was just like sick and tired of trying to find a good shot.
He did. The kid was, trying whatever he could, but he had no answer for Marisola's hand fighting skills and for his gas tank. The kid, Marisola out-trained the kid, bottom line, and the things you can control is your conditioning. You control that. And thank God that Connor takes that seriously. Braden Scholes lost a heartbreaker in the semis. There was a point where we thought he got a takedown in a turn. They reviewed it. They didn't give him the turn. But he had a really, really solid tournament. He is an outstanding kid. I thoroughly enjoy watching his matches because he's physical. He's hard to score on. He knows when he needs to score and he can go out and get a score. So he's fun to watch. Caleb, how about that kid? 5th in the country. Like,
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, I was coming back from a tournament with my daughter from Colorado, and I go and sit down in the plane in my seat, and who's sitting in front of me? Caleb. And I said, "Oh, you came out here to get some elevation training in, huh?" And he kind of giggles. He was on a senior trip with a bunch of guys from his school. Well, I'll tell you what, that elevation training or whatever he did sure paid off because he looked off.
Nice.
Cole wrestled really solid. I know Cole has more than what he showed in some of those matches. Once he decides to really open up, the size wasn't what kept him from placing higher. He's just got to open up more, and that kid, he's going to be right where Connor is, because when he decides to let his offense go, I don't know many guys that can hang with him.
Nice.
I think his ceiling is still well above where he's at right now, and where he's at is a pretty special place.
That's a pretty good compliment, Scott, because you just said he took 5th in the country at the toughest tournament that exists, and he's got room, like that. That's how good he plays, but he's got room to grow. That's a huge compliment.
Yeah, I think very highly of Cole, and I know he knows it. I know he knows it. So I'm not telling him anything that he doesn't tell himself every day. So I'm excited for where he's going to go. And Noah Mulvaney, I love that kid. He's fun to be around. He's exciting to watch wrestle. Like you said, he likes scoring points. He puts himself in some different situations where he's comfortable and other people aren't. So, go back and watch his matches, people. Charlie Millard, being a first-year junior and taking 7th, that was really cool to see. And then, Gavin and Max, they've been around forever. I'm going to be really sad. My last Drexler, I get to be part of our teams, and it's been a long run for the Drexler family, and I'm going to miss having them out there and seeing them, as I walk into the hotel each night with them out conversating with all the parents. So it's a kind of an end of an era with the Drexler family being gone. But we were 5th in the country, and the great thing here is we went into the place matches. We were in 10th place going into the place matches, and we won every one of those matches but one, and jumped 5 spots.
Wow.
To get in 5th. And that's where you guys talked about the roll. We were on a roll, and everybody was excited, and everybody just kept feeding off each other. We were the shark in blood infested waters, and we were going to eat. and that's the way the kids wrestled, and it was fun to watch. So we finished on a really high note.
That's awesome, man.
It is awesome.
8 out of 9. That's crazy.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was. The coaches were jacked. The kids were jacked. We knew we were that round. We came to wrestle.
Moving on to the Greco stuff here. I got to say, I haven't watched a lot of Greco. This is kind of like, this is my first big foray into freestyle and Greco. And I feel like my neck kind of hurt after these few days of watching it.
Kidding. No kidding.
But
Oh, Scott, I got a question for you. Is it hard's not the word, but is it so you get to know these kids, right? I mean, all throughout the state and you establish relationships with them, kind of like, I teach, I coach, they become your kids, you always talk about my boy. And is it, and like I said, I don't know if difficult's the word I'm searching for, but then you got to go to the regular season, and we know you bleed black and orange as far as being a Kaukauna Ghost and everything like that. And is it tough during the season then to coach these guys? And then I'm sorry, during summer wrestling, and then during the season, now these guys are going to come compete against your guys from Kaukauna. I don't know. Just walk me through that thinking. That's got to be something that it's not hard to do, but I just want to hear your perspective on that.
It's actually easy. I'm fans of these kids. I care about them. They are part of our team right in Wisconsin, and I want to see them succeed. And then when they're competing in the high school season, when we have to compete against them with Kaukauna, I still go up and we're still good buddies, but the good thing is I'm not on the Kaukauna staffs anymore. Mm-hmm. So it's easier that way. When I was on the middle school coach, it was a little bit harder. But now I'm going to cheer for them when they're not wrestling against Kaukauna. When they are, I just wish them the best of luck and see what happens. May the best man win, but it's not that hard because I just think they're good kids. You want to see everybody do well, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
In my hometown, of course, I want to see them have success. It's where I grew up. It's where I coached. So when we're competing against other people, of course, I want to see my hometown win, but it's not as hard as you'd think because it's now that I'm not on staff, it's a little easier for me.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And Teague, before you go into 16 Greco, we should probably say this. Maybe we're going to say this at the end, but we got to just appreciate Scott because he's spent a grueling 10 plus days away from home. He's battling a little sickness right now. You can kind of hear him coughing a little bit every now and then. He's going to spend some time talking about how awesome the Wisconsin team did out there in Fargo. And then I don't know, maybe in a couple hours here or so, he's leaving for another 10 days to go take a couple trips, college tours with his daughter. So, Scott, you're an animal, man. We appreciate you.
No problem. I love talking wrestling and that's my life is I'm on the road a lot and I enjoy being on the road a lot with, it's either with wrestling or following my family. So, and to get to spend time with you and promote Wisconsin wrestling, what you guys are doing, this is a joy.
I'm glad you said something publicly. See, I was thinking it like the whole time, and no, I'm glad you got that out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a reason you're well loved, man. The 16U Greco. I mean, this was, like I said, Greco, very fun to watch. Once I figured out the scoring and whatnot, it made things a lot more exciting too. But seems like kind of the same thing as 16U freestyle, where you got the lightweights to kind of get some momentum rolling here, just running through the place winners. Caleb Noble comes back. He wins at 88 pounds. Haken Peterson, I think it's back-to-back for him now. He's a champ at 94 pounds. Tristan Stell was a champ at 160 pounds. Evan Gratz was third at 285. Liam Neitzel was seventh at 113. And Jacob Herm was eighth at 160 pounds. Wait, 160 or 106? I think that's 106. Yeah. That would have been quite the growth spurt there.
That'd been huge, man. Hey, we're letting everybody know Jacob Herm's wrestling 160 this year.
Yeah, Jacob Herm actually placed at 120.
120. Oh, why'd I put 16? Oh,
whatever.
It's a typo. Don't worry about it. He's a growing boy. But I'll tell you what, that you're right. Getting as hammers again, and Caleb and Haken, it helps. It's vital that we have people like that kick off our team in the right way. And for Hawken to come and double up, that was really special to watch. And that kid is such a dedicated, likable, fun kid to be around. And when he steps on the mat, he has skills that are well beyond his age. I'll tell you what, he's gonna keep turning heads. Not that he hasn't already. He's been in 4 Fargo finals, won 3 of them. You know, he's second at the world team trials this year. The kid is special, but man, when people keep watching him because he's really, really good. And then how about Noble? He comes back and gets that title that we thought he should have got in freestyle. He was dominant. He's going to be a great leader. Caleb Noble, the guys really like him. The coaches really like him, and I can see why, because he just is fun to be around, and he's so relaxed. And then when he wrestles relaxed, and it just lets the points flow, and you could see it in his matches. Now, Tristan Stout, I'll tell you what, we were talking, Chad and myself, was he going to go 52? Was he going to go 60? And Chad said, we're going to let him grow. He's going to go to 60. And he came out and was just an animal. And he had a good freestyle tournament, but you could tell through the freestyle tournament, he gained confidence that he was good enough to win there. And it showed in Greco. And that's why he won a national title. I thought, you know, Grazi doubles up, takes third in Greco. It was great to see him get on the stand again. And then guys like, you know, Liam and Jacob, who didn't place in freestyle, the heart they showed coming back and placing in Greco is exactly what college coaches are looking for. Those guys that'll embrace the grind, take the feet in the right way, move on, and compete hard. That's what they did. And so I was super impressed. We were second as a team. We're right there. We are right where we need to be to make the next jump. And there's only one spot to go to.
Man, I gotta say, I know Fenimore won folk style state last year, but if there was a Greco state, I think you just give them the title before the season even starts. They have a good Greco factory going on down there.
And the one person we haven't talked about yet is Amron Nutter. You know, talking about Greco, he was a national runner up. He lost that hard match in the finals, and he's one guy that he was good enough to win it. It just didn't go his way.
Scott, I don't remember what for Greco for 16U and juniors, what you guys played. Do you remember what you guys placed last year off the top of your head?
I think it was third.
Oh, okay.
Sure. I think we were third. We were all in the top 5 last year. I know 16U freestyle was 5th last year. I think juniors were 4th. And then I think we were like 4th and 3rd.
It seems like over the last, I'm going to say, when it 5-10 years, it seems like Greco has really been on an upward and freestyle as well. But what would you attest to being the big, seems like big jump in the Greco discipline?
Well, in Greco, we've always been good in Greco. I actually kind of got into it with some Iowa coaches. They were wearing this sweatshirt, it's like Greco Nation with Iowa on it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? How many Olympians have you ever had from Iowa? You win the junior duels once and you think Greco Nation? I said, look at how many Olympians we have from Wisconsin. I think us in Illinois have a little bit more towards that than what you guys do.
Scott Kluever picking a fight with some Iowa people at Fargo. That's awesome.
what's right is right, and they're not. That wasn't right. But we got a lot of good Greco coaches in Wisconsin. Obviously, we have Dennis Hall right here. We have Lucas Stout. We have Jordy Crass. We have a ton. Of great coaches. Scotty Arneson's our lead coach. Ty Pilot up at X Factor. Jason Kleinschmidt. I can go on and on and on about our Greco knowledge. We had Fritz Sherrill on our staff, Eddie Smith on our staff, Tyler Dow on our staff. Everybody's accomplished. So I think it's just something that in Wisconsin, people take pride in being able to wrestle good Greco. And we're getting technically better. Mm-hmm. Our kids are getting overseas a lot more to compete. And with that, training with each other, we're just, that's one of the reasons we're getting better. And it's no different in freestyle, right? We've made bigger jumps in freestyle than we have in Greco. We've always been good in Greco. But our freestyle jumps, and that's our clubs there too. We got great coaches in this state. And I tweeted out yesterday, our secret sauce is when we're in Fargo, we are Wisconsin. We're not this club or that club or this or that. We are Wisconsin. And that comes from the coaches, the wrestlers, the officials, the pairs. We are all one big team. And I tweeted that out. That's our secret sauce, is we're one big happy family when we're in Fargo.
Well, I know you said for the preview last year, you said one of Keaton's favorite Fargo teammates was a Stoughton kid.
Yep. Tyler Dow and Garrett Model. They roomed together all through. They were arch rivals during the high school season, but in the off season, they would all plan what they were bringing to the room, because they all had their favorite things to bring for each other. So that was pretty special to see Tyler and Keaton coaching together this year. That was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah. Also, I got to give a shout out. You guys got a pretty good media team. I talked about Gabby already, but it seems like you had a few people taking pictures there as well that were able to capture a lot of the action.
Yeah, we're lucky. Gabby does such great work of getting content out, and it's a long day and it's draining. And then the Petersons were taking pictures and getting it out, and we're lucky, and none of this happens without, all the volunteers that put on the state tournaments and our board of directors, and, it starts from Todd Schaff down, we're lucky to have such a great organization.
It's got last portion here. We got Junior Greco. Place winners here. We got Max Ramberg, who was first at 220 pounds. Braden Casey, runner up at 106. Ian Smith was third at 195. Gunnar Hamry was fourth at 138. Charlie Might was fourth at 106. Rhett Koenig was fifth at 132. Corbin Ramos was fifth at 145. Tyler Hayden was eighth at 170. And the team finished second overall. I'll just say first here before we get into it. If I'd like to say Steve and I root for everyone's success, but there's sometimes where someone's success feels a little more special. And that's kind of what I felt with Max Ramberg. Just had we've had a couple of good interactions with him, and that he's a great guy off the mat as well. And seeing him win, and then the first thing that he thought of saying was "Hi, Mom," and he's just a great kid, and you just love to see good people, have success. So that was one of those, kind of hit the heartstrings a little bit for me.
And you described him well. He is a great human being. He really is, and I'm happy for his success. He went through some injuries. He got hurt out at Journeyman earlier this spring. So this was his first tournament back since then. And he wrestled really, really well in Greco. And his gut wrench was his key. He knew if he got a passive call, got put on top, he was going to win matches. So he had a plan. He went out, he got it done, Brayton Casey, you know, he came back from junior duels. He didn't have the junior duels that he wanted to have, right? But he came back, made some adjustments, and the kid's all heart. And you saw it in his semifinal match. You know, he's losing. He gets a caution in 2 to go down by 1, and then gets a takedown in the last 5-6 seconds to win and put himself in the finals. It was really cool to watch. Ian Smith, man, he had a amazing tournament. He wrestled really, really well. Gunnar Omri is special Greco kid. He was in an outstanding weight class. And for him to take 4th, you know, he's probably not very happy about it, but I'm really happy for him because he got to wrestle some outstanding kids that challenged his skill set. Charlie, same thing. He went to the junior duels. Charlie and Rhett, they both went to the junior duels, and I know what they expect of themselves, and they came back and at Fargo they stepped it up, and they got, you know, some really nice placings. Corbin Ramos had an outstanding tournament. He won some really big gut check matches. So he really, with taking 5th, he stepped up in some matches, and that's how he got there. And then Tyler Hayden, he hadn't wrestled Greco hardly at all, you know, but his desire to compete is what got him on the podium. He doesn't give in tough situations. And when you do that, you're going to probably end up winning most of the time. And that's what he did, you know. And the hard thing here, guys, is this is one where I really felt we left it on we could have finally knocked Illinois off, because we had some guys that were Fargo All-Americans in the past that just, they didn't have their best Fargo this time, you know, and that's the emotional roller coaster, right? They thought they were prepared. And I think they were, but things happen. It's a tough tournament. You know, people talk about the NCAAs and all those upsets, you know, you see, and that's kind of what happened to us at Junior Greco. We got upset a few times, but the good news is, you know, a good amount of those guys are coming back, and it's time to knock Illinois off their perch. They've won 14 straight. And like I told their coach, I said, congratulations, but we're going to keep pushing you, and we're right where we need to be to beat you.
Nice.
Scott gets scrappy when he gets out to
Scott, man, I tell you.
Well, I believe in our system. I believe in our coaches, and I believe in our kids. And I know we're doing things the right way. So I'm not afraid to say that we're doing it the right way.
Mm-hmm. Just calling a spade a spade.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's easy when you surround yourself with really good people and you put them in position to be successful, and you have the same goals. You can achieve a lot, guys, and that's what we're getting to.
That's awesome. Hey, Scott, last year when you talked about Greco, you referred to them as something. It was really funny. I laughed. What did you call them? Was it the non-leg grabbers or something like that? Or
freestyle's the leg grabbers. Greco is no, Greco's it's like evolution, because Greco real men stand up.
I got it.
Yeah. You said something snappy last year. I can't remember what it was. I don't remember. It was so funny. I died laughing, and I had a couple people comment and go, "Yeah, Kluever calling them this," and I don't remember what it was.
Oh boy.
I'll find out. Is it on the recap or the preview?
No, he did it when last year we did the recap.
Maybe it was
I don't remember.
I'll need to go back and listen to that.
Yeah, Matt will know. I'll ask him, and he'll know right away. He was one that texted me and said, "Yeah, Kluever calling him the something. It was hilarious.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely that difference between our Greco guys and our freestyle guys.
And hey, Scott, one more question to you before you I know we're going to be wrapping it up here a little bit, but what, there's some names that are the same from freestyle to Greco, but there's some that just, are there kids that just go out and do one discipline? Or there's some that do Greco, some that do freestyle, some that do both, but what's the, I know there's a qualifier, but what's the decision maker that goes in with some kids as far as not doing both, or, walk me through a little bit of that thinking.
I think it's preference, right? Some kids are more versed at freestyle. It's more similar to folk style. And then some kids are more geared towards Greco. Actually, Lucas Stealth has a good group of kids that's all they do. They don't do folk style. They don't do freestyle. They just do Greco. And then when you're younger, I think you do more of the both, right? You do more of freestyle and Greco, and you're trying to figure out where you're at. And we have kids that placed in both, right? So for us, we want kids, if they're going to do both, to be successful in both. So we look for them to qualify to be able to wrestle both. We don't want just anybody hanging around and making it a vacation. So if you're going to do both, you have to qualify to do both.
Mm-hmm. Well, Scott, that last slide I got here is goals for the future. It's still just 10 All-Americans, and then well, obviously we're looking for a title at Greco next year, right?
Knocking off the people from the southern border.
I think that's always a goal, is to win a division, right? And it used to seem far away, and it doesn't anymore. It's realistic. The kids think it can happen, and they have to be the ones pushing it, right? We can talk about it as much as we want as coaches, but it has to be athlete driven. And I think that's what the difference is now, is our culture, is it's athlete driven, that they want to win a title for them. And so now it's up to us as coaches to help guide them through that process. And we're right there, but you can't win a national title with just 10 All-Americans. As you can see, Pennsylvania, for 16U, they've won the last 4. They get about 16 All-Americans. You look at Iowa, junior title, they had 13 All-Americans and I think 2 or 3 champs. So we know that that's where we got to get to if we're going to win those freestyle titles. With Greco, it was like 170, and Illinois had 6 in the finals. And all these numbers, I think we're capable of. So we're not going anywhere but up. And the reason we're going to go up is because we have everything in place to be successful. And that's the coaches, the WWF, the coaches, the parents are supporting these kids. I just don't see us going anywhere but up. That's just me being real with everybody out there. It was a really humbling experience out in Fargo, just to see how everybody came together. And when I took this job 10 years ago, we weren't even close to this. And to watch through the years how we've come closer to what we envisioned, it's cool to see. So I do want to recognize some people. Like we had some people win some awards out in Fargo. That it was pretty cool. Max Askren got the developmental coach of the year for freestyle. And guys, that's a big deal. There's some big name people that were up for that award. and you go through each region. There's 7 regions. You go through, they get nominated through their region, and then everybody sends in their nomination forms, and they get picked by a committee, and you're the number 1 guy in the United States. So that hats off to Max for winning that award. It was, yeah, that's a big deal. See who else did we had our pairs won an award out there. We had some officials win some awards out there, and then I was reelected as the junior council chairperson for another 2 years. So I'll tell you what, that we got the right people in Wisconsin. It's that all the way around, not just coaches and athletes, but everybody. So we're surrounded with,
it's a well-rounded group, it sounds like.
yeah. So hats off to all of them.
Well, yeah, Scott, we appreciate you for taking some of your time today. I know it would have been really easy to say, hey guys, I'm going to be, I've been busy for like a month straight now. I've had a packed schedule for a month straight now, but we appreciate you coming on, and it's fun to hear like your perspective too, and kind of get the emotional side of things. Like I got to see some of it watching on the computer, but to kind of, hear it from someone who was there was just awesome. And, we just want to thank you, not just for coming on and supporting the show, but just for everything you do for the sport. And
Teague, you'll learn this. Scott, thank your wife and family, because I know they haven't seen you much either. And you're going to go, get on a podcast for an hour, and we got to do this, this, and this. So thank them. We appreciate it.
No problem. And guys, it's a passion. I love what I get to do. I love being around kids. They influence me too. That's a great thing. Guys, I think I turned 56 this year. I'm not even positive my age, but I don't feel it because I'm around those kids that are young and excited and having fun.
Yep.
And it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And so I'll tell you what, it may sound like we're bragging or whatever, but everybody in Wisconsin, we have a lot to be proud of, and we're going to keep kicking butt and taking names, and people are going to wake up and start not just mentioning Pennsylvania or Oklahoma or New Jersey, Ohio. They have to have Wisconsin in the conversation. We are real. These kids are working their butts off, and they deserve everything they're getting.
It's awesome, man. Couldn't ask for a better way to end it there. Well, Steven, let's see have anything else. We'll close her out here. But like I said, busy week for the show. Once again, Scott, thanks for coming on. Tomorrow, we got a little YouTube video coming out of a tour of a pretty nice facility. Wednesday, we got Gabby Lord Klein on to talk about the girls' side of Fargo. Thursday, Podium Winner Palooza Finals. But wherever you catch us next, we will catch you on the flip side.